Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris coming to you live and direct this morning from our News Channel 5 studios downtown. I am here in the studio by myself, Mary Elena in the back, and as we continue to kind of have most of our News Channel 5 staff work from home, we're able to pull it off. We continue to report the news and all that. As always, we're kind of focusing in on some different elements of the coronavirus and what's happening locally. We'll take phone calls. We'll get the number up, but we have guests that are going to join us. Later in the program, we're going to be joined by John Weil from over at MTSU talking about just the politics of the coronavirus, especially in a presidential year. We're going to have a couple segments where we just talk about some of the latest developments out there, but we're going to start the show this morning with the issue of the coronavirus coming along right after the tornado hit Middle Tennessee. And unfortunately, the tornado kind of pushed to the back pages of the news now because obviously the coronavirus dominating everything. But still, I jogged through a neighborhood that was hit hard. It's cleaned up considerably, but there is still so much to be done. So many people needing help dealing with both of these crises right now. We're going to talk about what can be done and how things are going with Ellen Lehman. She is president of the Community Foundation here in Middle Tennessee. Good morning to you, ma'am. Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Awesome. All right. Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel in some way because of the coronavirus, I mean, that it's definitely had an impact on tornado recovery?
Absolutely. And really, I would say that we have had three disasters in a row. The first one being the tornadoes, of course, the second being the virus, and the third being the economic disaster that has befallen our beloved community and the Middle Tennessee area overall. Because people no longer have jobs, or people aren't getting paychecks, or people are having to just rearrange their lives in unimaginable ways. Unimaginable last month. So it's really had a bad effect on a lot of people from a lot of angles.
Does that mean then, with regard to the tornado recovery, that there aren't as many people available to go out in these neighborhoods? I'm imagining, on one side of it, a lot of people maybe not at work, so they can be at home addressing their issues at their home. But where is it really hit hardest in what you've lost?
Well, it's hard to know. We have continued to be making grants out into the communities of Middle Tennessee that were affected by the tornadoes. I mean, this was a 100-mile adventure that the tornadoes took, and I think there were 8 of them, right? Mm-hmm. So, we have, since day one, we have been looking at getting money out the door, getting it in and then getting it out. We have had 21,000 donors who have contributed to the work. And, we have really been blessed by this community that is so very generous with their time and with their talent and with their treasure.
And I agree. I remember especially in the days right afterwards, before this happened with the coronavirus. Now, with regard to some of the cleanup, is part of an issue here. If let's just say there's a piece of property that still has to be cleared and you need several people out there, the whole idea of social distancing and closeness as opposed to having groups of people address an area, is that something you have to consider?
Absolutely. We certainly don't want people to be sick. We have dedicated, of the resources the financial resources that we have already dedicated almost $150,000 to that particular response. That's also being handled by Hands on Nashville, when they do a great job connecting people with tasks that they can complete.
All right, so as we sit here now then and things moving forward, does it seem like it's gotten worse in terms of the help that's out there? And then talk a little bit about what you think is really needed now and what you think is fair to ask of the public right now with everything else going on.
That is a really good question, and I'm not sure I have a really good answer. But I will tell you that we have had no shortage of people who have volunteered. We are connecting people who are looking for virus assistance with the United Way that has set up a COVID-19 line. I think this community is once again coming together. We are also, in addition to the tornado, we are also working with DHS across the state to assist 2,300 licensed child care centers in getting money to not rebuild, but to at least restore, and also helping these licensed agencies apply for lost income, response and recovery options, equipment, materials, and there is $10 million in funding over and above the tornado funding that we have at work, trying to make sure that these daycare centers and the children and the families who they serve will be able to bounce back from all of this.
Yeah, and the scary thing, of course, is, Ellen, we don't know how much longer, it's going to be several weeks, probably months before. And then just this morning, I don't know, as you were sitting down to get ready to Skype with us, the Department of Labor at the federal level released the numbers on unemployment claims in the last week, and it's topping 6 million. Okay, unprecedented in U.S. history. So many people out of work, and it's good to hear that you talk about some of the money that's still in place. Obviously, you hope that gets replenished, and I'm just wondering, as we move forward, do you have to be more judicious with how what you have is being spent, because you recognize there's not going to be a lot more coming in the immediate future with all these other needs?
Yes, absolutely. And this happened with the flood, and it happened with the other disasters in '98, where people are wondering why not every single penny has been given away. And the reality is because it is a long road to recovery.
Sure. And
we need to make sure that people who may be trying to help other people, that they're not left out at the end of the day or the end of the disaster, because they deserve the same kind of help and the same sort of support, and that's what we're trying to do.
What is comforting when you see this? I mean, so many people are dealing with this, of course, everyone with coronavirus, but there's always going to be someone less fortunate or who needs more help perhaps than you, and people are doing exactly that. And I'm hoping maybe some are watching us right now and having a chance to maybe hear directly from you with regard to if someone is sitting and is wondering, all right, look, I'm home right now. I'm okay. I have time on my hands and I want to help others. Can you specifically tell folks maybe what it is, as they get done watching this show, they can do to reach out?
So I think the first thing is to talk to Hands On Nashville. Okay. They do great work in connecting people with jobs that need to be done. I think we also need to understand that there is a website that is called tornadoresponse.com that is telling every step of what we have done to make this end well. And we know we're going to have probably at least a year or more of working on this, but tornadoresponse.com is for people who have any questions at all about how they can help and about what we are doing with the resources that have been entrusted to us.
Yeah, you realize right now, I mean, with what we're dealing with, organizations like the Community Foundation, this is basically why you were created. I mean, you're more important now than ever before, that responsibility. I'm just wondering, within that organization, Hands On Nashville, what's the sense you have of the morale of the people within it?
Well, I will not answer that directly, but I will give you a statistic. And, every year we do the big payback. This year, we really weren't sure anybody of the nonprofit organizations that we had served previously would be, up for it. We have over almost 1,050 local nonprofit organizations who have signed on to participate.
That's awesome.
In the big payback this year. And they're doing it because it allows them to come together, and it allows them to engage with their donors, and it allows them to prepare to raise money and prepare for what lies ahead. It is really important that the big payback this year, more than ever, is going to be available for donors online to support nonprofit organizations online. So it'll be different than it has been over the course of years, but we're continuing, and we have an online platform that is the basis of the whole thing, and we're sure, by golly, gonna do it again.
That's awesome. Well, listen, Ellen, I know how busy you are over there, and keep doing the great things and assisting these organizations. Thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate it, and we'll check in with you, and certainly you let us know if there's any other need that comes up or anything we can promote for you, all right?
Thanks, Nick.
All right, thanks much to Ellen Lehman, President, Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to open up the phone lines, and we'll have a segment here where we can follow up on some of what we just heard from Ellen. And if you have any questions about some of the latest developments, some of which I'll share with you, I'm going to go into more detail about what we've heard from the Department of Labor with unemployment and some of these numbers and how it's going to work out. Of course, it should be no surprise. I mean, of course, these numbers are going to explode right now in the period where so many people are out of work. We can also talk about some good news as well, among other things. It looks like some testing procedures, which will rapidly speed up the process, are about to come to Tennessee. And I'm going to have the very latest on that and more right after this. Stay with us.